Do you ever spend hours setting up your universe mode only to find yourself immediately losing that spark once you start playing? Well, I'm going to show you how I use ChatGPT to turn my universe mode into an action-packed show, instead of just these random matches, but actual rivalries, factions, and story arcs. Let's hop into it. Promos were supposed to be a game-changing addition to universe mode, but without any text or really stories shown on screen. Do you ever find them to just be, a little too lifeless? Well, ChatGPT can go ahead and fix that for you very quickly. Imagine a heated storyline ready to be played out between people like Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Well, ChatGPT can go ahead and give you the perfect promo to bring that story idea to life. Go ahead and give it a quick description of your story and build. Let it know who will be involved in this promo. And you can even tell it how you want the promo to end. It should just take you about a minute or two really quick. And then boom, it spits out an absolute masterpiece. Now go ahead and load up your promo within universe mode and watch along as you follow what ChatGPT gave you for their promo to be played out. And just like that, your promo has been given some life, and it'll get you way more invested in your storyline within your universe mode. Once you wrap up your WrestleMania and you're ready to freshen up your rosters for the next calendar year, do you ever find yourself getting lost in all the time and effort it takes to plan out and do a draft when it's not straight up in universe mode itself? Well, ChatGPT can actually fix that for you in just a few quick minutes. All you have to do is give it your single stars and tag teams for both the men and the women, and then ask it to go ahead and do a draft for each brand. Then boom, you immediately have your roster for the next calendar year. You can even go more in depth with it if you want by separating out your superstar list by division, or you can even go as far as to get a little crazy and tell ChatGPT to start role-playing as the GMs drafting back and forth. Or you can even go smaller with it, just ask it to maybe make a few trades rather than do a whole draft, just to shake things up a little bit. However you go about it, ChatGPT will shake things up and put you in a spot to be creative with your booking with whatever it spits out for you for your next calendar year of universe mode. Do you ever find yourself getting bored of the factions on your universe mode roster, then have trouble creating some new ones to really keep your universe mode fresh? Well, ChatGPT can actually go ahead and fix that problem for you with ease by helping you create some new factions. You can go ahead, toss it your roster, and have it give you a few ideas, or you can actually just give it a select list of superstars that you think really could use a big push from being in a new faction, and let ChatGPT take the reins. You can also go ahead and give it some details on why the faction is forming and the overall vibe that you think this new faction should have. Or you can tell ChatGPT to come up with those ideas for your new faction on its own. Don't be afraid to also use the previous tips mentioned from ChatGPT, like creating short-term and long-term storylines, because that'll really help you build out your new faction once they make it onto the roster for their first appearance. Once you go ahead and give it all this quick info that it needs, ChatGPT will then spit out some amazing new faction ideas to help you keep your universe mode fresh, but also to make sure you're interested in it in the long term. While you're playing your universe mode, do you ever find yourself not sure what to do with a key roster member in the short term? Someone who isn't in the championship picture right now, but is still a big name you want on your PLEs. Well, ChatGPT can actually go ahead and fix that problem for you by giving you a short-term storyline for him or her. Imagine you have a big-time star that, maybe just lost their title and is now out of that title picture. Give ChatGPT a little bit of background on that, and go ahead and pick another superstar that doesn't have anything going on either. And then ask it to come up with a storyline between those two superstars over the course of the next month. And also, make sure to give ChatGPT some background on your big-time star's new opponent, and then boom, ChatGPT will spit out a cool short-term storyline with week-to-week notes for you to follow to keep things easy, and also making sure your star stays relevant with something to do within your universe mode. Do you ever find yourself too focused on the stars and big idea of what you want for a huge long-term feud, but not really the little details of the week-to-week of the story you're trying to tell? Well, ChatGPT can go ahead and fix that problem for you, just like it can for the short-term storylines. If you already have your main superstars in mind for this long-term feud, then go ahead and tell ChatGPT, but don't forget to include the details about each superstar and really their reasoning for this feud happening and starting. You can even go further by including some background on each superstar's history with each other, if there is any, of course, or maybe you can include some details of why this rivalry is just such a big deal if they haven't had any prior history yet. Also, make sure to go ahead and give ChatGPT a time frame for this long-term rivalry and what PLEs you want it to run across, and maybe even some details on stipulation matches you want to see for this long-term feud. And boom, ChatGPT will spit out a cool long-term storyline with week-to-week notes for each month of your rivalry for you to follow and really keep things easy. And it'll also allow you to easily see how the storyline will grow and develop over the months within your universe mode. Have you ever found yourself in a position where you just crowned a new champion within your universe mode, but you don't really have any plans on who should challenge him or her next? Well, ChatGPT can actually go ahead and really help you fix that issue by coming up with some great potential number one contenders and even some storylines to go along with it. Go ahead, give it some info about your new champion, like are they a face or a heel, what's their gimmick, do they have any specific goals when they were trying to become the champ, or any goals now that they are the new champ? Do they have any former rivals on the same brand as them right now? You know, things like that. Give it an idea of what's going on with your champion. Then go ahead and give ChatGPT a list of possible contenders that are on the same brand, and some similar information about these possible contenders to face your champion, just like you gave for your champion itself. You can also go a step further with this by asking ChatGPT come up with a different storyline for each potential challenger. Don't forget to let it know if it's going to be a short-term or long-term rivalry, which PLE is coming up next. Then boom, it will spit out a handful of amazing options for you to choose from, letting you decide which one works best for where your universe mode is going. Another quick tip using ChatGPT is to enhance your heel turns and face turns within universe mode. I decided to take the real-world rivalry of Seth Rollins and his faction versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn and end up turning Sami Zayn heel, and it gave a great storyline idea for that. So basically, I gave the background information of the new faction, how they've been incorporated with CM Punk, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso for the world title, and then I allowed it to do its own thing with about a month of storyline, 3 weeks really to really set up that Sami Zayn turn. It starts with a little bit of a confrontation backstage between CM Punk and Sami Zayn, as CM Punk really doesn't trust Sami at this point. Then the following week, we see another confrontation between Punk and Zayn. This time, Zayn really is the one in action, really scolding Punk, telling him how he's obsessed with Seth Rollins. And unfortunately, this leads to a tag team match where Zayn is mysteriously attacked backstage, leaving Punk alone to get dominated. But in the following week, in week 3, this is when we get the eventual heel turn of Sami Zayn attacking CM Punk with a chair and saying that he's done with CM Punk and babysitting him, and he's going for a title on SmackDown like Seth Rollins promised Sami Zayn a couple months ago. And also what's great about ChatGPT is it gives you the rundown, the key moments of really what happened in the feud, and it's a great way to implement your own heel and face turns if you really can't come up with them yourself. A really great quick thing to do with ChatGPT is create new PLEs. You see every year different PLEs being worked into the yearly schedule. Some don't make it more than a year, like Bad Blood came back for 1 year and is now gone, it appears. So why don't you make your own unique PLEs for your own shows? So I did a quick thing, come up with 10 new ideas for WWE PLEs, and it quickly gave me the theme, concept, and a special match type if you want one, and it's done in less than a minute. I'm going to be honest, a lot of the options aren't great, but there's a couple that seem to make a little bit of sense. You have No Escape. I think it's a fairly realistic name for PLE, not too bad. Reckoning Night, take Night off and just do Reckoning. And there you have 2 different PLE ideas. But now what about logos for these PLEs and things and images to use for your in-game and upload and use them? I go off ChatGPT for this. I use some different sites. One easy site is Kling AI. I'll link it in the description below. And it comes some great quick AI images for free. If you sign up with an email, you get 166 credits free, and just doing one image only costs 1 credit. So you get 166 free images with 1 email sign up. A few great examples I had for the No Escape and Reckoning PLEs, and I thought it came out pretty well. One of the No Escape ones would actually be great as there's like a skyline and buildings in the background. It looks great if you want to do it in like New York, New Jersey as an advertisement logo kind of thing. I think it's great. Also, the first Reckoning logos weren't coming out too well, so what I decided to do was I added to the prompt, it should be dark and have a metal feel to it, and immediately the new logos were so much better. So make sure you work with your prompts a little bit, make sure they're a little more fleshed out so it understands the feel that you want for your logos to make your PLE more realistic. Next up, we have new gimmicks. Let's be honest. After a while, your universe mode could get boring from running the same superstars with the same gimmicks for year after year, so why not change it up? Why not have Cody Rhodes finally turn heel like many people want to see happen? So I told ChatGPT, I'm turning Cody heel, come up with 5 different gimmick ideas for his heel turn, and it immediately gave them a character, what they'd visually look like, and their story behind it. And these are pretty decent. Obviously, you should go more in depth with your prompt if you want it to be more fleshed out, but it gives you great ideas of who Cody could become and who you could choose for his new identity and new gimmick and persona. Ultimately, you'd have to come up with your own in-game like new look for him, which can be a little tough, but once again, you can use AI to come up with new designs and help you really flesh out a new look for him in-game and implement that with AI images to his new attire for it to make sense. Those are all the ChatGPT tips I have for you today. Let me know if you guys have any other tips that I did not mention in this video. Make sure to check out all my other Universe Mode content, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.